Good morning to all my All Saints family near and remote, and welcome to visitors with us here or with us thanks to YouTube and Trevor Coates. My name is Jane McGregor. When Sandy and I moved to Russellville in 1977, we thought we would be in the field for 2 years while Sandy worked as a startup engineer at A&O, Unit 2. Then we would move to the combustion engineering headquarters in Connecticut. Surprise, we're still here. We stayed. Our 3 children were born and raised in Russellville and at All Saints, our extended family. Our natal families lived 1,000 miles away. The role models we had in our church family are too numerous to name here. Many are listed in the remembrance prayers today. All Saints was small enough then that we did not do so much community outreach from our building at 18th and Detroit. As I got to know church members, though, I learned that many were actively contributing citizens of our wider community and came to worship regularly to find comfort and strength and to get reinvigorated for their secular ministries. Their deep acceptance of us became obvious after the service one Sunday, during which my Caroline had done a somersault down the aisle after communion. I was thinking we might need to find a new church. Instead, one of the elders sought me out and said he'd felt like doing that sometimes himself after communion. Over the years, Sandy would point out that a church is a congregation of worshipers, not a building, nor the clergy. Our love for this church grew and grew, and we started to give back to our church family in tangible ways. My peers in parenthood through the years shaped me as a mother. When our first was born, I didn't even know how to hold a baby, being the youngest of 3 siblings. Luckily, Sandy did, being the oldest of 4. I had a lot to learn and was blessed to have experienced mothers in the church who became my mentors. We helped each other raise our children. Over the years, we taught each other's children in Sunday school and worked together to teach them, as Micah instructs, to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. For decades, Sandy and I both contributed our talents and time to All Saints in all sorts of ways, singing in the choir, reading lessons, serving on the vestry, and in more concrete ways. I needle-pointed one of these kneelers. Sandy estimated 20,000 stitches, and Sandy helped Comforter install speakers in the rafters, so they're virtually invisible, yet obviously effective. And Sandy installed the old pipe organ at 18th and Detroit, and again when All Saints moved here. It has now been replaced by a tracker organ. Supporting All Saints in these ways felt, and still feels, really good. I love to be useful and to serve this community. So what about active stewardship of our treasure? Well, Sandy and I set a goal decades ago to tithe at a full 10%. Before then, I guess we thought we should estimate the cash we were likely to put into the collection plate over the course of the year and pledge that amount. When we represented All Saints for the Legacy for Growth Diocesan Capital campaign, we learned that it was time to step into a role as bona fide adults. We realized churches do not survive on manna from heaven, but had mortgages and payrolls to cover. There is something about raising money for an institution that we care about that can make us realize how crucial raising money can be to its survival. At any rate, we started off quibbling about whether it was tithing 10% before taxes or after taxes. Eventually, we took a leap of faith and discovered, as our refrain states, when we give out of our abundance, there's always more than enough. How does that happen? Lord knows, I do not. Surprise, surprise, God is a surprise. We were certainly not perfect in our endeavors, but now that I have reached what the French call un certain âge, a certain age, I am required to pull a chunk of money out of an IRA every year. And I'm thinking about transferring more than a tithe to All Saints, because All Saints needs the money. I'm praying about it. Doing so will require another leap of faith about the giving, not the praying part. Big gulp. Yet I cannot forget that this church community is priceless to me. Despite being immersed in COVID isolation and family bubbles and social distance, precious church friends and Terry carried me and my children, our children, through Sandy's dizzyingly fast death in July 2020. In a phone call from her home in Virginia, my sister said to me, "You're never going to want to leave that community." She was absolutely correct. You are priceless to me. All Saints is a loving, giving, God-focused church home for me that has been a major part of my life. I hope you will want to join me as good stewards of this church we jointly own. I know I want to give back to this place because it made me who I am. I hope you feel the same way as you pray for guidance, as you decide what to pledge to All Saints for 2023. Thank you for listening. Thanks be to God.